She thought it was just another first day at a new hospital. But before nightfall, Nurse Clara Johnson would uncover whispers of corruption, sabotage, and prejudice that could cost her everything. And the man in bed 412? He wasn't just any patient. He was the reason St. Augustine's shining reputation was about to collapse. In 15 minutes, you'll follow Clara's journey as she navigates a hostile workplace, strange warnings from a patient no one believes, and the impossible choice she faces in the operating room. Stay until the end, because the shocking twist will reveal who this mysterious patient really is, and why the truth was buried so deep inside this hospital's walls. Before we begin, comment below where you're watching from today. I love seeing our community from all around the world. Day 1. 7:02 a.m. Clara Johnson steps into St. Augustine General, her ID badge still stiff from the printer, her shoes polished, her heart pounding. The lobby gleams. Granite floors, spotless glass. To outsiders, this place is a beacon of medical excellence, sitting proud in a wealthy suburb. But as Clara approaches the nurse's station, the air shifts. Conversations falter. Smiles turn brittle. The head nurse, Miss Priya, gives her a polite but clipped nod. Johnson, rooms 407 to 414. Get settled. Orientation notes are in your inbox. Call if you need backup. It sounds simple, but Clara will learn. At this hospital, backup isn't something you can count on. As she wheels her cart down the hall, she feels the stairs. Every step, every echo of her shoes against the linoleum, feels amplified. Then she reaches room 412. On the bed lies Avery Cole, mid-50s, both wrists wrapped, eyes too sharp for a recovering patient. His chart says fall from a ladder. His gaze says otherwise. You're new, he says calmly. Good. New eyes see what old eyes ignore. Clara keeps her tone professional, recording vitals, checking bandages. But then he leans closer. If anything happens to me, check the pharmacy fridge logs. Tuesday night, 1:40 a.m., and the ore supply changeover from last month. It won't add up. Clara frowns. Patient's rambling about conspiracies isn't unusual, but his words are precise, almost rehearsed. She notes them in his chart, as protocol requires. Minutes later, the chart returns to her desk. A sticky note now covers her entry. Priority, dressings. No initials. No explanation. The clue is gone. By mid-morning, Clara notices the pattern. Her call lights stay unanswered longer than others. Specimen pickups she requests never arrive. Colleagues chat freely, until she enters the room. Then silence. Whispered laughter resumes as soon as she passes. Back in 412, Mr. Cole watches her quietly. They'll test you, he says. They always do. And when you notice the wrong seal, or the wrong label, they'll call it your mistake. Clara dismisses it outwardly, but her next patient confirms his warning. The crash cart seal code is mismatched. Not critical. Not random. Someone swapped it. When she flags it, the reply is sharp. Mind your scope of practice, Johnson. Minutes later, Clara's pager beeps. Room 305, difficult patient. Send Johnson. It's not her assignment. Everyone knows room 305. An elderly man notorious for outbursts, already driving 2 nurses to tears this week. Clara enters anyway. The insults come fast. She doesn't flinch. Calm voice, steady hands. She completes vitals, resets his line, and leaves without escalation. Down the hall, she spots Dr. Vale, the silver-templed surgeon whose reputation precedes him. He's watching, his face unreadable. He turns away before she can speak. Back in 412, Mr. Cole is waiting. They'll try to discredit you, he whispers. Check your 4 loadout. She does. The brand is different. Labels nearly identical, except for one tiny code mismatch. It's subtle. A mistake easy to pin on her. She recounts, relabels, documents everything. Then pages pharmacy about the switch. The page times out. No reply. Mr. Cole watches her carefully. See, the silence tells you more than the answer. She can't shake the words. Tuesday, 1:40 a.m. On her break, Clara logs into the public temperature charts from the pharmacy fridges. There it is. A 5-minute dip. 1:41 a.m. exactly as he said. The access ID is scrubbed, just a string of asterisks. Except in the raw metadata, one character slipped through. Initials, WV. Dr. Wesley Vale. Clara's breath catches. Coincidence or confirmation? If you were in Clara's position, new on the job, and you just found suspicious logs tied to a senior surgeon, would you speak up or keep your head down? Let me know in the comments. By late afternoon, Clara's pager buzzes again, urgent, room 409. She hurries in to find a transfusion kit ready at the bedside. But something's wrong. The blood unit label doesn't match the patient's type. One small mistake, and the patient could die. Clara freezes. She double-checks the chart. Then, calm but firm, she intercepts the process. Stop. Wrong unit. This isn't a match. The room hushes. For a moment, she expects pushback. Instead, the attending nods sharply and corrects the error. No praise. No acknowledgement. Just silence. Back at her station, Clara photographs the mislabeled bag, notes the time, and forwards it directly to risk management. This time, she doesn't copy her ward manager. It's a small victory, but victories come with consequences. As she steps into the corridor, a figure falls into stride beside her. Mateo, a quiet orderly known for keeping to himself. He doesn't look at her, just mutters under his breath. The last nurse who flagged Vale? She was gone in a week. Or gone. Period. Clara stiffens. Mateo adds, if you want proof, check last month's or supply changeover. That's when things started missing. He peels off before she can respond, leaving her heart racing. Back in 412, Mr. Cole is waiting, sharper than ever. They'll make it look like you're the problem, he says. So make sure the problem can't look away. He points at the dome camera in the corner. Dead feed. Every night. 10 p.m. to 6. Ask security for last night's footage. See what they don't show you. Clara shivers. If he's right, someone has been hiding movement under the cover of silence. That evening, Clara sends a perfectly polite email, requesting read-only access to or supply logs and pharmacy fridge reports for patient safety reconciliation. C. Johnson. Minutes later, her manager responds. Focus on assigned tasks. Leave audits to administration. The CC line includes Dr. Vale. The message is clear. Stop digging. At 6 p.m., her shift nearly over, Clara delivers evening meds to room 412. Mr. Cole studies her face. Your documentation saved a life today, he says softly. But you're not the one on trial here. They are. Clara hesitates, then blurts, who are you really? He doesn't answer. Instead, the hospital intercom crackles overhead. Code Blue 2 or 2. All available staff. Or 2. Vale's Theater. And Clara is the closest nurse. Inside or 2, chaos. A patient lies prepped for emergency surgery. Bright lights blaze overhead. Dr. Vale is scrubbed in, sweat beading at his temple. Clara scrubs fast, her hands steady despite her pounding heart. The operation begins. Instruments clink. The anesthesiologist watches vitals. Then Clara sees it. Vale is about to make an incision at the wrong angle. A slip like this could rupture an artery. The patient won't survive. She freezes. The room expects silence, but her training screams louder. Doctor, she says, voice calm but firm. Consider a different angle. The anatomy here suggests. The entire or halts. Every eye turns to her. Vale glares, knife hovering midair. For one terrible second, she thinks he'll dismiss her. But then he adjusts, and the bleeding risk is avoided. The patient stabilizes. A life is saved. And Clara knows. She has just made an end. After the operation, Vale storms into a side room, dragging Clara with him. His voice drips with venom. How dare you undermine me in front of the board? Your job is to follow orders, not think. People like you don't last here. You're nothing but a diversity hire, and you're done. His words cut sharper than any scalpel. For Clara, it's the open mask finally dropping, prejudice, power, intimidation all laid bare. But before she can respond, a voice interrupts. Steady. Commanding. Enough, doctor. Clara and Vale turn. Mr. Cole is sitting upright, eyes cold with authority. I've listened long enough, he says. What I've seen in this hospital is disgraceful. The intimidation, the prejudice, the cover-ups. It ends now. Vale stammers. You don't understand. But Cole cuts him off. I understand perfectly. And perhaps you should know who I am. My name is Thomas Cole, CEO of Healthcare United. I have the power to shut this hospital down tomorrow. The room falls silent. Vale's face drains of color. Clara can barely breathe. The patient no one believed was never just a patient. He was the man holding their future in his hands. The room hangs heavy in silence. Vale's bravado has evaporated. Clara, still trembling from his outburst, realizes she isn't alone anymore. Mr. Cole's voice cuts through the tension like steel. I've seen enough. This hospital's culture isn't just flawed, it's dangerous. And I won't stand by while negligence and discrimination risk patients' lives. At that moment, the door opens. The hospital administrator enters, flanked by two staffers. She freezes when she sees Cole upright, speaking with authority. Mr. Cole, she stammers. He nods, calm but firm. Yes, and I expect you to listen very carefully. Over the next hour, word spreads like wildfire. Staff whisper in the halls. Reporters gather outside the building. Cole calls for a full investigation. Diversity and inclusion training, mandatory. Supply and pharmacy audits, immediate. Hiring and promotion practices, overhauled. And Dr. Vale? Suspended, pending investigation. For some, the announcement is terrifying. For others, it's a long overdue relief. Clara watches in stunned silence as the man everyone dismissed as just another patient dismantles decades of silence in minutes. Later that evening, Clara returns to 412. Cole is tired but smiling. You stood your ground today, he tells her, when no one else would. That's why I'm recommending you to the hospital's new Safety and Inclusion Committee. Your voice is needed here. For the first time since she walked through the doors of St. Augustine General, Clara feels seen. Her exhaustion, her fear, her persistence, it mattered. She nods, emotion thick in her throat. Thank you, Mr. Cole, for everything. But he shakes his head. No. Thank you, Nurse Johnson. You reminded me why I got into this work in the first place. New on the job, lives, facing prejudice, hostility. In the weeks that follow, dangerous mistake in the operating sweeps room. Through the hospital. But you have spoken up. Mandatory training even begins. If it meant losing your career. Whispers of fear share your turn into conversations of hope. And if you want more stories filled with suspense, is now at the center of something bigger than herself. Justice served. A movement for accountability, safety, and equality. Your support the road ahead keeps these stories alive. She knows one truth. Silence protects no one. Speaking up saved a patient's life, and maybe saved the hospital itself.